In 2025, Somalia stands at a crossroads, teetering between collapse and the promise of a new beginning. The tension in Mogadishu is unmistakable. Will the nation fall back into chaos or push forward towards stability? Al-Shabaab's resurgence and deepening political infighting threaten to unravel fragile progress, while hope flickers in the form of economic reforms and newfound diplomatic recognition. Offshore oil discoveries and a seat on the UN Security Council hint at a brighter future even as violence and uncertainty persist. Somalia's story is one of contradiction, gunfire echoes near tech startups, and government struggles for control while engaging in global diplomacy. The forces of disintegration are powerful, but so too are those of resilience and ambition. The outcome remains unwritten. Somalia's fate hangs in the balance between collapse and breakthrough. Early 2025 saw al-Shabaab launch a fierce offensive, reclaiming territory and striking at the heart of Somalia's security. Their campaign is strategic. Roadblocks, shadow governance, and brutal attacks have shaken public confidence and exposed government vulnerabilities. High-profile assaults, like the hotel siege in Beledweyne and bombings in Mogadishu, have left dozens dead and security forces demoralized. The group's swift recapture of key towns and severing of supply lines reveal sophisticated planning and exploit political divisions. Al-Shabaab adapts rapidly, shifting tactics from large-scale assaults to targeted assassinations, making them a persistent threat. Their resurgence is fueled by internal discord and waning international focus. Reversing their gains will demand unity and resolve that Somalia is still struggling to muster. As the military battles rage, Somalia's political crisis deepens, threatening to tear the nation apart from within. President Mohammed's push for centralization faces fierce resistance from autonomous regions like Puntland and Jubaland, who see it as a threat to their power. Boycotts of national forums and disputes over new federal states have paralyzed cooperation and security efforts. The result is a dangerous stalemate. Regional leaders prioritize local interests, trust evaporates, and joint action against al-Shabaab falters. Western support is waning, leaving a fragile system exposed. Decentralization by default has empowered local militias and authorities, further fragmenting the state. This fractured landscape is fertile ground for extremists to exploit, turning political grievances into strategic advantages. President Mohamed's bold attempt to centralize power is a high-stakes gamble for Somalia's future. He argues that only a strong central government can unite the nation and defeat insurgency, but his reforms are seen by many as a return to authoritarianism. Proposed constitutional changes would shift power to Mogadishu, altering elections, resource management, and security command. Regions like Puntland and Jubaland fiercely oppose this, boycotting national processes and deepening the political standoff. The president's push risks alienating essential partners and hardening opposition, stalling state-building efforts. While centralization may promise long-term stability, it's currently fueling division and paralysis. Somalia's fate hinges on whether this gamble will unite or further fracture the nation. Somalia's turmoil is now a regional affair, with foreign powers turning the Horn of Africa into a complex geopolitical chessboard. The US and UAE provide air support, but shifting priorities have left gaps in counter-terrorism efforts. Ethiopia's controversial port deal with Somaliland has inflamed tensions, with Mogadishu accusing Addis Ababa of meddling and arms smuggling. Egypt has countered by forging a strategic alliance with Somalia, intensifying regional rivalries. Turkey remains deeply involved, managing key infrastructure and leading oil exploration, giving Ankara significant leverage. Competing interests among international partners can both support and destabilize Somalia. Navigating these alliances requires deft diplomacy to avoid becoming a pawn in larger power struggles. Somalia's foreign policy challenged leverage support for national good without sacrificing sovereignty. Beneath the headlines, Somalia faces a devastating humanitarian crisis. Nearly 4.6 million people are hungry, worsened by sharp cuts in international aid. The closure of nutrition clinics has left over 55,000 children without life-saving support, fueling a surge in malnutrition and preventable diseases. Outbreaks of measles, cholera, and other illnesses have doubled, with children under 5 hit hardest. Displacement from conflict and clan clashes has forced over 150,000 more into overcrowded camps, where disease spreads rapidly and aid is scarce. Global aid to Africa is declining for a third year, compounding the crisis. For many Somalis, daily survival is a struggle against hunger, disease, and neglect. The spectre of famine looms as families face impossible choices. The humanitarian emergency is a silent catastrophe demanding urgent attention. Amid crisis, hope emerges from the Indian Ocean. Somalia's first offshore oil exploration, led by Turkey's TPAO, has sparked cautious optimism. If reserves prove viable, oil could transform Somalia's economy, funding infrastructure, jobs, and security. The government is working to avoid the resource curse, focusing on transparency and fair revenue sharing to prevent new divisions. Security and political challenges remain, but the prospect of oil offers a rare chance for economic sovereignty. Officials aim to ensure all regions benefit using oil wealth to address root causes of instability. The journey from exploration to production is fraught, but the promise of black gold is a beacon for a new future. For the first time in years, Somalia glimpses a path to prosperity built on its own resources. Despite internal turmoil, Somalia is making its mark internationally, winning a non-permanent seat on the UN Security Council for 2025 to 26. This achievement signals a shift from being the subject of global concern to shaping international policy. The new role brings both visibility and pressure, pushing the government to demonstrate stability and reform at home. Somalia is also advancing its bid to join the World Trade Organization, modernizing trade and financial systems to attract investment. Upgrading ports and infrastructure with international partners is opening new economic opportunities. These diplomatic and economic moves lay the groundwork for a more connected, competitive Somalia. The nation is striving to redefine itself, not by its problems, but by its potential on the world stage. Despite relentless adversity, Somalia's greatest strength is the resilience of its people. From shopkeepers reopening after attacks to tech entrepreneurs building solutions amid chaos, Somalis refuse to be broken. The diaspora's remittances and grassroots organizations sustain families and communities, providing hope where the state cannot. This active, creative resilience is the foundation for a better future. Somalia's struggle is not just against extremism or division, but for a new national identity and destiny. The path ahead is uncertain, but history shows Somalia's capacity to endure and adapt. It is this unbreakable spirit that offers the strongest reason to believe in a brighter future for the Horn of Africa.